Hello, welcome back to the Memo. We are coming at you from Brooklyn, Astoria, and Valley Stream. Hope you're all doing well during this tough time we're all going through, staying healthy, staying safe. But we wanted to make sure the Memo keeps going. We took a little time off. Things were crazy for a week while we're all waiting to hear what happens, staying indoors, doing this, doing that. But Zoom is a thing, and we're able to do episodes with it. So we're going to keep trying to do it weekly as long as we can, as long as we're alive and not in a plastic tent with hazmat suits.
That is really dark.
Some ET shit.
Yeah,
but,
times are weird right now, man.
Yeah, so the only thing going on is the NFL free agency. It's been our only real taste of any sports news, of anything.
Before we get into that, I want to ask you guys, how have you been holding up? How's your quarantines going?
I've been staying really healthy and
Me too. I've just been trying to get all the nutrients I need.
being really productive. I have not played a single video game.
I'm just trying to keep like a low carb diet and not.
No, seriously,
because I've been bored as shit. I've been in my apartment now for like going on 4 days.
I've been working from home. I haven't seen anyone in like over a week now.
You were at the Lonnie's yesterday.
For a little, stopped by.
In a hazmat suit.
Yeah, I definitely was wearing gloves and a mask like a psychopath.
You were?
Yeah.
You're a dangerous apartment to be in right now. There was like 30 people there last week. 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah. All right.
It's all right. I'll be fine. I had coronavirus in December anyway, so. But yeah, I've been working from home, spending a lot of time alone watching shows. I don't watch that many shows. I've been watching True Detective.
So good.
True Detective season 1. It's incredible. Rewatching it. I've been watching a lot of interviews, podcasts. Just doing my part here, and trying to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to stay somewhat active. I do go out on my bike. I ride my bike. I bring my dog, so I'm not around anyone.
Yeah,
but,
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I do jump rope in my backyard. I do push-ups and pull-ups, and I play Fortnite a lot. And I've gotten way better, so that's fun.
Yeah, I've been going out on walks.
You're playing so much Fortnite, dude.
So much.
I've actually, like you said, I've gotten good again.
Yeah, it just came back.
We were so bad in the beginning, but we've been playing so much Fortnite. It's funny. Richard and I will like play Fortnite for like 2 hours, then say we're getting off for a little. I literally like take a piss and then text him, yeah, let's play Fortnite.
There's really, yeah, if you're not doing like work from home or anything at the time, if it's at night or whatever, like there's just literally nothing to do.
I just like feel it in my mind that I've been playing for so long and I should get off. And then I get off and I'm like,
yeah, the thing, if I get off though, I'm just gonna like watch a show. So if people are on and I can talk to people at least, then that's enough.
If there's anything that's been like a positive of this, obviously most of it is negative. It's like a pretty big catastrophe, but it's been nice to just like slow down a little bit and relax and not constantly be like running around, tiring myself out, which I feel like all of us tend to do.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely, I mean, people are losing money if they're not working, but if you're working from home and you're getting paid, you're not going and blowing it all at the bar that weekend or anything like that. I mean,
my credit card statement is definitely the lowest it's been in a while.
The thing I miss the most right now is the movies. I just can't go to the movies. But
yeah, you're a big movie goer. How do you feel about that?
You got real depressed there for a second.
Because I love going, and apparently AMC theaters might not like recover from this. One guy said that, and other analysts were saying it will, but I just don't want them to get rid of the Movie Pass subscription they have. Like if they lose too much money, if they have to take it away to like make it back, that would suck because that's why I go so often. And they just recently, like So they were operating at a loss for like a year and a half, and they just started profiting from the subscription. So like shit was going well, and now I feel like you're gonna get fucked. But we'll see.
Well, I was gonna say something I forgot.
I feel like that kind of service is the only thing keeping movies alive right now.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever, and it makes more people go to the movie theaters. Make money from the popcorn and shit. So when more people go, more people buy that, and they make more money.
Yeah, the margins on that shit is probably mad high.
Dude, it's fucking stupid.
The one thing I'll say about working from home is, Alex, you said you've been doing that. I've been doing that too the past week and a half. It's worse than going to the office. For me, at least, I hate working from home. I'd rather be at the office in Manhattan because I'm sitting here surrounded by my Xbox and my TV and alcohol and like ability to do this. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to stay focused on work with all of these distractions? And I can just go to take a nap if I want to. It's like, it's impossible for me to keep my head on straight and actually work.
Yeah.
It'd be good if you could. Sorry.
If I didn't have a job, it would be good. What are you going to say?
It was tough for me at first. It was my first time working from home, and I feel like I kind of thrive off the engagement with like my like I me personally, like I need that feedback and I need people to like be telling me what to do, or I kind of get lost. So like at first I was just not doing anything. I was being as productive as possible, but I was definitely lacking a little bit of direction. But I've kind of gotten used to it, and I don't know. But it definitely less productive while I'm at home.
Production has gone down a lot.
Yeah, it'd probably be good if you had a little area that you could like designate to do work, where you're not just like in your living room or something.
Exactly.
Like, right now, at least I have like, if I had to work from home for something like that, like I have this shed area, like I could come out here, kind of just like chill away from all my shit. But
yeah,
I just have to stand in my kitchen like I'm doing now.
One thing that helps is I'll wake up at the same time as I do when I'm going to the office. I'll like shower, I'll get dressed, obviously not in work clothes, but I'll like put on something normal, and then I'll just like sit here and start working. But that helps like get into the flow of things.
Yeah, still doing this. You're not just waking up and slobbing to the couch and you're tired and like, you know, make a cup of coffee, get some water.
Yeah, I haven't been drinking any coffee too. Really? I feel like that's kind of like a psychological thing I've exposed. Is it's like a habit for me when I get to the office to make coffee, and now I just don't feel the need to do that at all. I've had one cup of coffee since.
I drink it every day.
My showering has gone down significantly since being born. Not as a black, for a couple of reasons. One, if I do smell bad, I'm the only one smelling myself. I'll live with that. But secondly,
there's a virus going around. It's
not going around my apartment.
Bathe.
From the bathroom to the kitchen to the living room.
You haven't been going out at all?
Listen, the reason and what I'm saying about showering is I just forget. Like when you have nowhere to go or nowhere to be, like I just get out, I get up, I go sit on the couch. 5 hours pass before I even turn on the TV, and then I'm just like, shit, I kind of smell myself, but at that point I'm already on the couch. So what am I supposed to do?
Once you can smell yourself, I'm always just like, wow, people around me have probably been like, holy shit.
There's no one around me.
I'm just saying, but once that point where you can smell yourself, that means you're bad.
Yeah. And showering really is a tedious process.
It sucks.
Especially my
it's
water
so
pressure
annoying.
is like fucking like a spittle coming out of a little like when you turn the hose off and like it drips out still at the bottom, that's my shower.
Yeah.
And that it's fucking freezing. There's no heat in my apartment, so you step out and it's ice cold.
Oh.
Nightmare.
That sucks.
So I smell bad. Get over it.
You might want to wash that COVID-19 off you.
I wash my hands whenever I go out.
The way you walked back in, mad funny.
All right, what are we talking about, huh?
Hey, there's only one thing to talk about. I'm happy we all gave a nice little update on our lives here. But
speaking of updates, I just want to also mention before we get into the subjects of the episode, we're getting close to the drop of our brand new Memo Podcast Network website. That'll be hoping to finalize everything by April 1st. So in about a week or so, I'm sure we'll be blasting that out to everyone who's following us on social media. And then along with that, I know I talked about this for a little bit, but just given the amount of time before the NFL draft, I kind of stepped back to plan everything. But also starting April 1st, I will be doing the solo podcast about the upcoming NFL draft, which is now going to be taking place not in Vegas at all. It's going to be like from remote locations, which is going to be interesting to see. Yeah. But I'll be starting up a podcast, hopefully doing Tuesdays and Thursdays each week leading up to the draft. For some more information, check it out on our social medias as well.
It's going to be dope. Excited. And I will be getting back to doing the Lions Den too. As I said, with no movies to go watch and every production being delayed and all that stuff, it's kind of hard to find some topics to talk about. But I might.
You should do classic movie reviews.
I was just about to say I might start watching like any movie, just talk about it. We'll see.
I'd like to hear that.
That would be fun.
Send Richard suggestions on movies that you want to hear and review.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would. That'd make it so much easier, so I don't have to fucking lose my mind trying to pick one myself. That's the worst.
Yeah, send in requests.
All right, so I guess we can get into the only sports topic that we have, which has been the NFL free agency, which has probably been one of the more interesting, given the circumstances.
Underratedly.
Besides that, yeah, there's been a lot of movement, a lot of players going places we didn't expect. So I don't know where you want to start off. We could start off with something big, or if you want to get the Jets out of the way, let me get my spiel in before we.
I think we start with the highlight of free agency. No, and that's Tom Brady signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's not George Font going to the Jets.
George Font. The PFF guys ragged him.
They ragged on him. All right, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, as everyone knows, the biggest story to come out of NFL free agency is Tom Brady deciding to leave the New England Patriots and sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bruce Arians is their head coach. They had a good season offensively last year. They have some good weapons over there. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and they just signed O.J. Howard. Did they sign Gurley, or am I making that up?
The Falcons signed Gurley.
Right, the Falcons signed him. But yeah, definitely a good landing spot. It's not one that the three of us expected. The three of us predicted that he would be going to the Chargers. But I think we would all agree that it's probably the most well-equipped offense that he could have landed with. No? I think that.
Not necessarily agree with
I
that.
think the Chargers, they had weapons that fit the way he likes to play more, like Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry and Eckler. But, I mean, O.J. Howard is still a good tight end. Obviously, Evans and Godwin. But he's not really, at this point in his career, Brady, like a gunslinger, you know? And I thought Godwin and Evans really benefited from that Bruce Arians scheme, along with Jameis Winston just chucking it literally every single play. I'm not saying they're going to be worse with Tom Brady. Obviously, they're going to still be great.
Chris Godwin's a really good wideout, man.
He's great. And so Mike Evans is a top 10 wideout, too.
They're both great.
Yeah. Mike Evans has had 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Damn, 6?
Yeah, he's really good. I feel like he's kind of underrated.
O.J. Howard had a very bad year.
He put up 0 one game, and Matt anointed him the worst receiver in the league.
He did have a bad season.
Not bad.
He was supposed to break out. A lot of people were had that storyline going before the season.
He had like 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Howard.
Oh, OJ. I'm talking about Mike Evans.
Nah, O.J. Howard.
Oh, OJ, yeah, no.
Matt dumped Mike Evans for a fucking pack of cigs.
That's what I said. He put up 0 one game, and Matt.
Let's clear that up right now.
Right, for a 6-pack of beer.
For like Juju Smith-Schuster, who got hurt.
Yeah,
that was a terrible trade.
yeah.
And whole carton of cigarettes.
No, but we're talking about Tom Brady. But
No, we're talking
Yeah,
about
I mean-
he had a bad year, and I think part of the reason why he had a bad year is because you had Evans and Godwin. Like, there's only so much football to go around. They both were top 5 in receiving yards. Like, realistically, I feel like Brady will be better off. I think Howard will be better off with Brady.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Jameis doesn't seem like a guy who was really scanning the field for his tight end over the middle. You know,
No,
he wasn't-
because when Evans and Godwin were out, Winston was just airing it out to Brashad Perriman, who went off in those guys' absence.
He's a special player, apparently.
yeah. So
Did he sign anywhere?
not yet.
No. Interesting.
So neither did Robbie. But there's some good
Big
receivers.
bet going on next year for us, Rich.
Oh yeah, I said Robbie would have a better year than Perriman, right? Yeah, and I said Bell would have a good year because you think he sucks. But we'll get into the Jets later. But
So what does this mean for the Bucks?
Can you guess O.J. Howard's first name?
What?
Oscar.
There's
No.
a J.
I know it
thought
could
it
be
was
his
like-
middle name.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm saying, what does the O and the J stand for?
Oscar Jones.
Is Oscar the correct first name?
No. All right, it's stupid to make you guess. It's Otarius Jabari.
We just would never have ever.
If one of you sniped it, though, that would have been a legendary moment.
Jabari.
So what do we think of the Bucks next year? Where do you guys see them ending up next year? In the playoffs? Missing the playoffs?
Well, I just want to say, I feel like something because we all predicted he'd go to the Chargers. I feel like Bruce Arians was probably a huge reason why he did end up going to Tampa Bay, because I think he wanted to end up with someone who's a pretty proven veteran coach. You know, I'm not saying Lynn is a bad coach or anything. It's just Tom Brady needs someone who's going to be on the same level and same page as him. But I think it makes them better. I mean, they were 7-9 with a quarterback throwing 30 interceptions and probably even more fumbles on top of that. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's not going to throw for 5,000 yards like Winston, but they have too good of weapons for that offense not to succeed, and now they have one of the best quarterbacks at taking care of the ball of all time. So they're going to improve. But
pretty good.
What?
Their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach.
Their run defense was I think top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Secondary needs a little bit of work, but I think they're moving in the right direction. Brady, I think that they're definitely now with 3 wild card teams. I think they're going to get in. They have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, which will be interesting to see. If they do make the playoffs, I don't think I've ever seen a Buccaneers playoff game. But that kind of just brings me back to it's so weird to, first of all, even say Tom Brady's on the Buccaneers. But the fact that he's on the Buccaneers, that team, as opposed to not just not the Patriots, but the Buccaneers, it's so random.
Yeah.
It's so weird to talk about him having a coach that's not Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He's going to be
So weird.
I wonder if Bruce Arians wasn't there, did he really want to go to Tampa Bay that bad? Was it, I'm going there, or was that a huge part of it?
I hear it from him. I want to hear what he has to say about it.
When we were predicting where he would go, I said that he wouldn't. It wasn't like the whole NFL was offering Tom Brady a contract and he could just pick wherever he wanted to go. I heard that his interest wasn't that. Not that many teams were interested in him, and I feel like that was kind of confirmed.
It was just
they said there were offers from only the Bucks and the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
So the Pats didn't even offer him a contract?
Well, and the Pats.
Oh, yeah.
They don't count.
So those are the 3 teams. But those have been the 3 teams that everyone's been speculating the entire time. So maybe other teams. When they were in Nashville for a day.
So the Titans didn't even decide to offer him a deal?
They were set on Ryan Tannehill the whole way.
Yeah, I think that deal is atrocious.
You got
All right, we talked enough about Brady. Let's get into that then.
4 years, $118 million. I don't care what he did, and he didn't
That's a lot of fucking money.
He didn't do that much in the playoffs. He literally got dragged by Derrick Henry, and when he had to do something, when the Chiefs shut down the run game, he didn't do anything. And he's just solid. He's just Ryan Tannehill. He's the same Ryan. He had a nice run. He got hot for a bit. He's just a solid. He's an Andy Dalton. He's a better than Nick Foles, I guess, but he's just one of those type of guys. Like put a good team around him, and he's a Case Keenum, a guy like that. He's not a franchise. He doesn't deserve a 4-year, $120 million deal. In my opinion.
I agree. I think that was a mistake to give him that big of a deal.
It just screams to me like regression.
Yeah,
like it's just inevitable. Yeah.
Right when that started happening, we were like, he's going to do well. They're going to overpay him, and they're going to regret it.
Yes,
yep.
Exactly.
No, you guys definitely have been saying that. You guys have been saying that since before the postseason.
Yeah. It was just like, and we'll see how he plays next year, but we're 2 out of the 3 steps down there. Played well, got a contract. Now we'll see what comes afterwards. But they were in a tough position because, like, what do? Like, you kind of – you're going to just not bring him back after he goes to the AFC Championship game?
Good teams would be able to make that tough decision, assess him as a player, not just based off the stats and the accomplishments. Obviously, they went as far as they've been in a long time. But
maybe he's good then. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they did more evaluation than just, the face value
of course
stuff.
They did. Of course
the
they
championship. But this is something that I think ruined the Jaguars' chances of ever being a real competitive team. They got far with Blake Bortles, and instead of trying to move on from him and find someone better, they doubled down on him and gave him an extension. Did they give him a
contract?
They gave him an extension, yeah, and he was not good.
And they cut him the next season.
But they could have been searching for another.
Do they have any outs with Tannehill? Do you know?
I'm not sure the details. I'm sure it's probably structured in a way that maybe after 2 years they have an out. I could be wrong. Yeah, he's on the Raiders.
Mariota
right?
Sucks.
We'll get to him in a bit. But
yeah, I don't know. You guys know that I was the biggest on Tannehill. I thought that he was like actually a good quarterback, while you guys were saying that he's Ryan Tannehill. He's like, the Titans are going to doubt this. He's playing amazing, but their schedule's weak, blah, blah, blah. Watching him play against the Chiefs just completely flipped me. He was just, the pressure was all on him to play well, and they were kind of in that game. It wasn't a blowout or anything, and he just did not play well enough to get them a W.
Look, I don't think he's terrible. Like, he can be a starter,
Yeah, he's average.
He's not. You don't pay him big money like that. At least I don't think, especially with the market that was out there. Now I'm sure maybe they reached out to all these other guys, but
what I heard, they were just set on him the whole way.
Well, then that's a mistake, I think. But hey, we could be proven. Maybe he gets even better next year, and we're proven wrong. But I just don't.
It's a full off season to work with them.
Yeah.
The way that they run their offense is pretty much he's not the focal point. So,
well, when you're in a division with Deshaun Watson and now Phillip Rivers as well, a division
we can transition over to the Colts. I think that they're going to be legit this year, at least in that division. I think that they're going to win the division. But they seem to have a really solid team, bringing in Phillip Rivers, another guy who it's just so weird to see him on another team or read headlines that he's the Colts quarterback. Hurts me a little personally.
Yes.
But,
sorry, bro.
Yeah, but at least I'll be rooting for them for sure, and I think they do have a good team around him to actually do.
Yeah, he's certainly an upgrade from Brissett.
Oh, for sure. And this was the one that this is the only one we got right. And this was the one that everyone's been saying basically like the entire offseason, like Phillip Rivers of the Colts. And it was just such a perfect match given the offensive line woes of his whole career with the Chargers. Go to a team with arguably the best O-line in the NFL that has avoided quarterback, has talent at a lot of other positions. They just traded for DeForest Buckner. So they just beat.
Huge move. That was a
great move. Yeah.
Good for both teams too. The Niners made an extra for 13th overall pick. That's good.
And the Colts are going to be in a position that they could get another weapon on offense to pair along with Hilton. They're picking 13th, I think. You might see.
Traded that to the Niners.
Oh, they traded that for Buckner, so they're picking what, 30 something?
No, they just have a.
They
second.
didn't. Oh, really? Okay.
What was the Niners' logic behind that deal?
They can't pay D Ford, Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, and DeForest Buckner. So the D line is good enough where you can
moving forward with Solomon Thomas.
But they still have the best defensive line in football. I mean, they had a surplus at the position. They flipped it into the 13th overall pick. They're probably going to get another dynamic weapon on offense.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Colts are in a position to get like a Judy or Lamb or maybe like Ruggs. And now the 49ers, a team that went to the Super Bowl, might get one of those. But
yeah, I think they're definitely going to receiver at 13. Yeah. They kept their 31st pick. So we have 2 picks in the first round now.
Yeah, so I mean,
trade for both teams.
The Colts will still be in a position to grab a solid receiver or playmaker in the second and third round. No, that's done. That was last year. Was the last year they had it.
Why didn't the Niners go after a QB?
Good question.
They're paying Garoppolo $30 million this year. So
if they cut him though, it's only like $2 million.
Really? Well, they should have cut him and got Brady.
The Colts pick 34th. They have the second pick in the second round.
Okay, so they're gonna get. Maybe they get Mims.
Quarterback.
You think?
Rivers is on a 1-year deal.
Jordan Love.
And Rivers is not the Rivers of old. Let's just get that straight.
We'll see what he does in front of that offensive line.
I think it'll help, and I think he's definitely an improvement over Brissett, but he didn't look so good last year, even when he had some time to throw.
Definitely was not just. It was on him too, like you could see he was missing.
I really don't think that. I think he's still
that game against the Broncos.
Year before, he was an MVP finalist. Like, he can still easily play football at a high level.
I mean, now we're going on 2 years
That's
later.
2 years ago.
Yeah, he's still there. He still put up numbers in specific games. He just couldn't throw the ball in front of that.
He always puts up numbers.
Yeah, well, there was definitely some more factors other than just himself, but I think he was one of them. But I don't think he's bad. Like, I still think he'll do well for the Colts.
He's definitely better than Jacoby Brissett.
They're gonna win the Super Bowl.
They're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Put it down. Mark it down right now.
Mark it down like Marcus Mariota.
Oh, what a segue.
Who went to the Raiders. What'd you say?
You got to work on those transitions.
Alex enjoyed it.
I didn't enjoy it because I really wanted Winston to go there. I thought
Raiders?
that was a good landing spot for him.
Yeah. Then him and Carr could be the worst QB duo in the league.
I feel like he's like the opposite of Derek Carr. Derek Carr is like the safe bet, not that good, like middle of the pack, just you know exactly what he's going to be. Winston is that wild card that still has a lot of potential, even though he's a little bit older now. I feel like he was a good fit for that Raiders backup position, but I guess they went with Mariota, who
Jameis is
I don't know.
Starting quarterback. He should be starting in the NFL this season.
He would be if he went to the Raiders.
Maybe a backup.
Eventually, Carr would have gotten benched.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with that fit. I'm just saying that, like, in general, I think he should be a starting quarterback.
So for a second, before we we're going to talk about Jameis way more.
I agree with that.
What do you think happens with Mariota and Carr? You think Mariota's there to be the backup? Or do you think Gruden's saying, all right, you two are battling this out, and I'm going with who I want? I don't think you bring in a guy like Mariota just to continue rolling with Carr. I think he wants to see what he can get out of Mariota.
I agree.
I think Carr will open the season, but he'll be on a short leash. I think Mariota's going to start by mid-season because I hate Derek Carr and he sucks.
I hate both of these quarterbacks.
I like Marcus.
They're both just such vanilla, boring, not fun to watch.
Well, and I feel like the whole thing with Carr too, when he got drafted and when he had that good season, he was like a sort of a gunslinger, you know? Now I feel like he just
I think a lot of his struggles have to do with the injury, the back injury.
Oh, he got a back injury too? I didn't know that.
Pretty sure.
I know he broke his leg.
But yeah, it's pretty clear that Carr is not the guy there. So maybe Mariota just needed a change of scenery.
Seems to me like Mariota is a guy that Gruden probably loved coming out of the draft and stuff like that. And he just saw him on the market and was like, I want that guy here. I can get the best out of him. That's my Gruden impression.
Very good. I don't know.
He has a hard voice to imitate. Very unique.
I just don't know whatever they're doing with either one of these quarterbacks, they're going to be bad. You have two quarterbacks that are very mediocre. You combine the two of their skills and you have one decent quarterback. I don't understand what the game is here.
I don't either.
Maybe they think they can use Mariota in a way he should, mobile
man.
on the run.
It's John Gruden. He's not just going to all of a sudden start having Marcus Mariota play like Lamar Jackson.
He shouldn't play like Lamar Jackson because he can't, but just not a...
I'd be very surprised.
Would be surprising. But, I mean, hey, they did better than any of us would have thought last year.
Well, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They were a game out of the playoffs.
You probably thought they were going to be the worst team in the league.
Did they go, 6-10?
They went 8-8.
8-8.
They were a game out of the playoffs.
Actually, not that bad.
Yeah, they did. They had for what everyone was probably thinking about them, they had a great year. Well, the thing
they weren't eliminated until
they
week 17.
Started off well, and then they kind of fell off, so it kind of soured the whole season. But
yeah, because they had the one game. Remember the one game that they thought they were hot shit?
Yeah, and then Jets beat them.
Right. That was the Jets.
And then the following week, they got crushed again by another team.
They lost 4 in a row. But hey, all right.
And it's because
and Marcus Mariota is definitely bringing in that.
I don't think they have
that intensity that they need.
I don't think they have some master plan.
Just get them going. I like what they're doing with Marcus. I think he's got a bright future there.
Marcus Mariota does not belong in Las Vegas.
I don't
He's
think
the most even-keeled, stoic person of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think they had some master plan for this. I think they just
doesn't ever have a plan. He's just whatever he's
winging
doing,
it.
doing that
I don't think that's true. But I think they're just. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. They went 8-8. They were solid. They had a good draft and they have good players. We'll see what happens. I think they just brought in Mariota because he was affordable and he was an option, and they're not sold on Carr. Obviously, they brought someone in that maybe could be better for them, and they're gonna draft someone eventually. Yeah, and now they have Cleveland Ferrell.
Oh, okay.
He's filthy.
He wasn't that good.
He got hurt, I think.
No.
You sure?
No.
They got good players with each of those first round picks those picks they got from the Mac trade. They got
was terrible.
Who?
Jonathan Abram, the safety they got.
Okay, fuck him.
They should have kept Khalil Mack. You gonna defend that trade?
We'll see what happens. How did Khalil Mack do last year? Had a down year.
He's amazing.
He's the best player. We'll see. What if they end up having a more well-rounded and solid team because of it? All right. So let's move on to Mariota's draft mate, who you were just talking about. Drafted one pick before him. Mr. Jameis Squinston.
2020 vision, baby. Hashtag 2020.
2020 and 2020.
Yeah.
But it might be in
He hasn't
2021
signed
now.
yet, right?
Nope.
He's still a free agent. I'm all about Jameis Winston. I would, he's a guy. He put up 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. The talent is clearly there. The eyesight wasn't. He got LASIK. He can see now.
See, I don't agree with that.
So ridiculous.
Over the middle. Why is that ridiculous?
What is the talent of throwing interceptions to linebackers over the middle 30 times?
And also,
Just because Bruce Arians' offense literally called for a throw down the field on every single play, he was inevitably going to rack up 5,000
All he
yards.
could do was chuck it up. Alex, put a blindfold over your face and see how many interceptions you're throwing. Okay? The man's out there playing blind.
Okay.
You can't tell the difference between a linebacker and a tight end. That's why OJ had a down year. Now the
They're wearing different color uniforms.
I don't agree that throwing for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns means you have talent because
anybody can just roll out of bed and do that.
Yeah, because you're gonna defend this because fucking Blake Bortles threw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns and didn't throw for 30 picks and he sucks. So, yeah, he did in his second year in the league.
4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns. How many picks? 3?
18.
3.
But I remember after that year, I drafted him in fantasy, and it was one of you two where I was reading that all of his touchdowns and his big plays were always garbage time because he actually sucks, and he did suck.
Which is the same thing is true for Winston because the Buccaneers were getting fucking torched every game, and then Godwin would.
He's done it year in and year out. He's thrown for 4,000.
What? He sucks.
Okay, I think
he sucks every year.
I think he's better than Bortles, but the fact that he threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns doesn't mean he just has a turnover problem. It's not.
Yes, he had an eyesight problem. He had a
Oh my God, with the eyesight.
Trying to be funny. Why is that not something to consider?
Because if that's really what it was, then
if a professional athlete is going out and playing their games with impaired vision, they are just stupid and incapable of making good decisions.
His intelligence is not up for debate here. We understand he has a long track record of not the best decision-making skills. He's not.
There's just no way. There's just no way that he went out there and played NFL football with impaired vision. There's no way.
Back to 2013. What are you talking about? You think that every article is just lying?
I think it's made up. I think it's made up.
That's just ridiculous to even say because it happened.
He's been playing his entire NFL career with impaired vision.
In college, yes.
It's impossible. It's impossible to do it.
He's had a turnover problem.
If you have impaired vision, you just will be the worst player on the field every time.
All over a lot, wouldn't you?
Okay. Where's Winston gonna end up, Matt?
Bring him to LA, baby. Let's fucking ride.
Washington.
Give me Winston in a Chargers uniform and just watch the rest just fall.
You'll hate him by week 10.
Fuck that. I've dealt with Phillip Rivers. I know what it's like to see an interception.
Not 30 of them.
Oh my God, it'd make for more entertaining.
He's so much worse than Phillip Rivers, dude.
All right. So here's the thing. So I've been saying, and it's been wrong from the beginning, but I've been saying he was going to go to Washington. Some people have been saying maybe the Pats, but these two teams, the Redskins,
never taken.
Yeah, the Redskins just traded for Kyle Allen. The Pats have Hoyer, Stidham, and whoever else. What team has a QB room where he fits in?
Pittsburgh.
That's been one that people have been saying, but
give him a break to really, gather himself, learn a little bit. Don't really take much advice from Ben because he's a psychopath, but let Ben get hurt, which he will, and then he'll slide in and be the future quarterback there. They have no one else other than Ben. Mason Rudolph.
And they're always going to be good.
Yeah, they're a well-run team. Mason Rudolph. I'm out.
I like that landing spot for him. And I think Big Ben should just
It's
retire
about time.
because he is old
I
and
don't
gets
want
hurt.
anything to do with Mason Rudolph bandwagon. I'm off it.
What about Duck?
Who was on the Mason Rudolph bandwagon?
It's a little bit up for debate there. Duck is okay in my book.
You loved Mason Rudolph in the draft.
That's why I'm saying I'm disassociating.
So you actually were on the
Matt
bandwagon?
loves every backup quarterback and every quarterback that sucks.
Garrett surprised me here.
So we had some other big quarterback moves. Because Jameis Winston didn't even end up anywhere. So let's not go too much. Once he gets on a team.
He's going to end up on a bench where he belongs.
Yeah, probably. At this point, he will.
Have a starting quarterback? I mean, besides the Chargers.
What?
Does any team not have a starting quarterback?
No. I don't think so.
Dolphins.
They're going to get Tua.
I guess but they count though. They don't have one yet. They're
Yeah,
not,
but like the Bengals don't have Burrow, but they're going to get Burrow.
but they have Burrow. Like Miami doesn't. Like somebody else can take Tua.
Is Rosen just done?
I'm not out on him. I'm not.
Here we go.
I'm not. Dude, what do you want him to do?
Not suck.
He's
Probably
been in
play
the-
better.
Now
Two of the
Ryan Patrick in a
Ryan Fitzpatrick has played well, and we know what Ryan Fitzpatrick does.
You can't beat him out for a starting job. You can't. You get pulled for him after what three games.
I don't think he's been.
You got to be able to convince the coaching staff that you're better than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Or at least not like make them think we already know he's not going to be on our team next year, so it doesn't matter. They cut him so fast. They turned to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I don't know. I still think there's something there.
What do you like about him?
I don't know. haven't seen much from him. He's barely had a chance.
But why would you defend it then?
I think there was a lot of talent there coming out of the draft. I don't think it's been really tapped into. There's potential. I don't think a team has really committed to developing him. He's kind of just been. He was in Arizona with terrible coaching staff and a terrible team and terrible O-line and all that, and then he gets traded right away to Miami, who they wanted him to see if he was anything, but they weren't committed to him. They kind of were just like, all right, show us something. We're not going to put all our cards into you, and you got a short leash, and that's not what a 22-year-old quarterback needs. They need stability and a coaching staff that knows what it's doing and how to develop a quarterback, and he's not on his ass every play when he's in. He did not play well when he was in for Miami. Not at all.
Not the only quarterback that was drafted into a shitty situation. He's shown absolutely nothing. Players have bright spots. Like Haskins had a bad year, but he showed a lot of potential.
I'm sure there were times on Arizona and Miami. I've seen videos look at all these throws that the players dropped, or videos of him throwing dimes. He's shown the flashes. I think he just needs to get why not if you're the Colts and the whatever they draft Tua. The Dolphins. Why not fucking throw a 5th round pick for Josh Rosen and have him sit behind Rivers for a year and see what you got? That's a stable team that has a good coaching staff and a good.
Who should throw a 5th round pick?
The Colts or something.
Just draft a guy you're on your own.
Why?
Because Josh Rosen doesn't look like a good quarterback at all.
I don't think you should be giving up any draft capital for a guy who has barely played, and when he has played,
get him
he
for
sucked.
a 7th round pick. All right, Josh Rosen doesn't matter right now. 7th round pick doesn't matter.
It'll never
You
matter.
can get a 7th round pick from anyone. So another quarterback that actually was a free agent and signed somewhere, and this was very surprising to everyone because it affected another guy who we talked about and said he would stay with his team. But Teddy Bridgewater ends up on Carolina Panthers with Matt Rule, and it looks like Cam is on his way out. But what do you think of Bridgewater going to Carolina? Do you think that was a good move for them?
I have no idea what they're doing. The Panthers, they're not a good team. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to come in and solve their problems. They have holes all over the defense. Offensive line, they traded away their best offensive lineman for Russell Okung, who's always hurt at left tackle. Bridgewater he succeeds when, like, we saw what happened in New Orleans with a good team around him. He won't make mistakes, but he's not going to take a team. He's not going to take a mediocre team to the next level. And
Great team around him.
Yeah, and I just don't see any way that this ends well for the Panthers. And it's too bad for Teddy because he is a great guy and he seems like he could be a successful quarterback, but the team's a mess.
Well, they have McCaffrey and a new head coach. We'll see what they do. I think he's okay, you know. It's like I do agree with you, but I don't think it's going to be a disaster for them. I think they can be decently successful with him if they build up the offense.
In Carolina, there's a lot of new faces. And
and
it's hard to project what this team is going to be next year, and it's also hard to imagine that this team is just going to be a perfect storm and just be very good out of nowhere.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that's going to be a process, and I mean he's on a 3-year deal. It seems
How
like a
old is he now?
stopgap deal. Maybe 27, maybe 20. Like
okay, so this is his prime.
Yeah, and they're not sold on like Herbert and Jordan Love. They're not going to get Tua or Burrow, and they want to be. You can't just if you're a Matt Rule. I don't know if is he the GM? Like, does he run the team?
Don't think so.
Okay, but if you're this organization and you're Matt Rule and Cam Newton's always hurt and you're probably moving on from it anyway, and you're a new head coach, first time in the NFL, you want some sort of stability at the quarterback position. Bridgewater does provide that. He doesn't have much upside. He's not going to gunsling you to wins. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he's not bad, and he can win games, as we've seen. There was a good team around him in New Orleans, yes, but it's hard to win 5 games in a row in the NFL, no matter what. Maybe they don't like you don't like Justin Herbert. You think they like Justin Herbert? What if they think he sucks too? What if they don't like Jordan Love? You get a guy so that you're not just absolute shit for however long, and you build a winning culture. They also signed the best football player ever, P.J. Walker, as the backup. So we'll see what happens there.
He should be starting.
Hey, he played for 4 years with Matt Rule at Temple. So he obviously likes him.
So I don't get the fit for Teddy at all. I don't think that it's a team that is a quarterback, like a stable quarterback away from becoming anything legitimate.
I don't know if that's what they're
viewing it as. Why don't they just throw Will Grier out there and see what he's got?
I would have been okay with that too.
They watch him practice all the time, so
I think they're going to be 6-10 for 3 years. Teddy will be gone after the contract, and then they're going to be starting over when they could be doing that right now. Patchwork doesn't work, and this is
you don't just. But like I'm saying, what if they don't like these quarterbacks in the draft? You don't just draft one and say, "What does he got?" Like maybe they'll draft an elite defensive player, or an elite offensive player, or an offensive tackle, or something, and like maybe they'll build the offense, and they won't suck with Kyle Allen.
Maybe all those things happen, and they're great. But I
don't think they're gonna be like a bottom seller team with Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's solid enough, and he's been on. When he started for the Vikings, he wasn't like outstanding, but they went to the playoffs, and didn't they almost win a playoff game? And then fucking Blair Walsh ruined.
They had a great defense, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were okay. They were a good team, playoff team, and he was improving. And then he had the gruesome injury. He was a good quarterback prospect. Like maybe we haven't seen.
Not with Teddy Bridgewater at all. It doesn't make sense because the rest of the team is bad.
But what
first year head coach too.
It's not a good.
I don't understand what else were they supposed to do at the quarterback position, if that was their option, and if Cam Newton is not, if he's injured all the time.
I see both sides of this.
I would have kept Cam Newton.
Rule from day one is coaching for his job, you know.
Yeah, he's out. He has to prove that he can stay in the NFL. Like maybe he's not.
That's not a thing. Rookie first-year head coaches don't always need an established QB. They come in and they draft their guys all the time.
But that's the point. They're looking at this draft.
The GM went out and got whoever the GM is. Went out and got Teddy Bridgewater for him. So it's like, all right, Matt Rule, no excuses now. You have an NFL caliber starting quarterback. Make it work.
Look, maybe they're looking. Like I said,
they'll give him more than one season. Obviously.
They have what, the 7th overall pick?
Yeah.
They have the 7th overall pick. They're not getting Burrow or Tua. Maybe they're not sold on Herbert. Definitely not sold on Jordan Love. Well, I know you said someone called him this year's Pat Mahomes, which is stupid. Why? Because he has a big arm.
I don't.
Yeah, but they're not sold on these guys, and he wants to have a competitive team, and they want to have someone in there for stability and be able to.
He's great, and every player's awesome, and everybody's going to be good.
Who?
You.
What did I'm telling you? Maybe that's what. You're not telling me what their plan could be. A quarterback aside from this.
I don't know what their plan is as a team.
So
they have a terrible defense. They lost like 3 people in their secondary this offseason. I told you they traded their best offensive lineman. They have Christian McCaffrey and Teddy Bridgewater, and the rest of it is nonsense.
Curtis Samuel's good.
My issue is not with Teddy Bridgewater not being good enough. My issue is that he's going to be wasted there, and he would have been better suited on the.
But there's a whole free agency isn't over.
What
are the
details of his contract? Do they have outs? Can he be cut after the season? Like, those are all important things to know.
I don't think he's going to be the problem, though.
But if it doesn't make sense for him to be on the team and they have outs, then that makes the contract that makes it make sense.
And the team
see what he's got for a season, and then if it's not working, cut him.
He's not making that much money. It's a pretty reasonable deal. It's like 20.
3 years, $60 million, $20 million a year.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do they have outs?
I don't know.
It's not all guaranteed.
But the team isn't done building the roster. There's trades, there's more free agents, and there's an entire NFL draft to come. They could all of a sudden draft a tackle and a guard in the first 2 rounds, and all of a sudden they have a great O-line.
Yeah, sure, that could happen. I don't see that happening. I don't see.
So I don't know about. I feel like you're criticizing the plan. They haven't executed the entire plan yet.
It doesn't look like they have any plan.
Maybe they do. It looks like. I think it does look like they do. They're moving on from Cam. They want someone stable in there who's not getting hurt every snap.
They're a train wreck.
We'll see.
This season they're gonna go like.
Yeah, but they have dope colors, so that's cool.
All right, now we know what's driving Richard's argument.
It's the blue. It's the blue.
All right, what else?
How about that Rams new logo, huh?
Oh, it's disgusting.
It just looks like it should be the Chargers logo.
Looks like a
why would they
both LA teams.
Why would they change it? They had a cool logo.
I don't know. Apparently there's another logo that comes with it where it's like a ram. The ram is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, hopefully it's a ram. They're the Rams. They're not the LAs.
It's a questionable move for sure.
Excuse me, sorry.
This is a big season for the Rams coming up.
Speaking of the Rams,
Todd Gurley,
they cut Todd Gurley, who is now on the Falcons. I don't think, it's surprising, but it's not, and I also don't think it's a great pickup for the Falcons either, because I think he's done. I think he has the knee injury, the arthritis, and he's just not the same player anymore.
You'd be wrong so many times in one episode.
What are you going to tell me right now?
He'll never be a workhorse again. That's for sure.
I love Todd Gurley, and he's going to.
So do I. I loved him. I drafted him in fantasy his rookie year, and he was hurt for a few games, and then he came in, and I didn't make the playoffs.
People have been saying Adrian Peterson is done for the last 7 years, and Adrian Peterson's just been good.
That's because he's old, not because his knee doesn't work.
I'm just saying he won't be a workhorse, but he can definitely still be a productive player.
Todd Gurley got more touches each game, towards the end of the season. He started playing a lot better. A couple 100-yard games, couple late season touchdowns. He can catch balls out of the backfield. And the thing with his knee, the arthritis in his knee, it's not – I'm not a doctor, but it's not like –
What are you going to tell me about his knee?
It's not like something, some days he can just feel great and he'll be Todd Gurley. It's like it can just comes and goes, like with the Kawhi injury kind of. It's not like something where he's like
So injured. He's faking it? I don't think that.
It's something where if he's feeling himself and he can go, then he's going to be great.
Who's the Rams running back going to be? Darrell Henderson?
That's a good question. I didn't even realize that. I guess they might have to draft one.
Darrell Henderson, low key,
filthy.
He good. They didn't let him play because they were saving him. They didn't want him to get arthritis. It's contagious.
Okay. No, I like Todd Gurley. I don't really like the fit with the Falcons because they're another team. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They're just always not that good.
Who's their head coach? Did they fire Dan Quinn?
I cannot get more frustrated with the Falcons than I ever am
Dan Quinn
in this
is
moment.
still the head coach somewhere.
And now Tom Brady's in their division, so good luck.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
So
You just can't ever pinpoint what's wrong with the Falcons. It's just always everything.
just stay on the running back wave here. A guy who Matt has
You like transitioning more than you like talking about segments.
because I want to get to everyone. What do you want? What do you want me to say about Todd Gurley? We just said everything.
Who else is on the Falcons for running backs? Because he's going to have to be like a 1-2 punch kind of guy.
Did they ditch Freeman?
Yeah, and he's a free agent and he'll retire because no one will sign him.
The Jets will sign him.
No, they won't.
The Rams should pick him up.
I bet the Buccaneers pick him up.
He sucks.
Really bad.
But I wanted to say someone who Matt
Well, they still have Tevin. No, they don't have Tevin Coleman.
No,
he's on the 49ers.
One of their 30 running backs that they have.
Jaquiz Rogers. Do they still have Jaquiz Rogers after all these years?
They might still have him. Oh, I think he might actually have been to the Bucks too.
He's gonna have a year.
Smart.
But
He's a free agent.
a guy that Matt championed was better than Todd Gurley for years, and one of his boys on his favorite team, Melvin
This is
Gordon.
a good topic.
He hops on over to Denver. He wants to, now that the NFL got rid of the testing for weed, he's going to go to that dispensary every day, get a nice ounce. Melvin Gordon. He's not a weed guy? Yeah. You should have seen him last week. How do you feel, man?
If he wants to go fucking to the Broncos.
Yeah, with your boy, Drew?
Yeah, it sucks that team's in my division. I like Locke. I love Melvin. I can't root.
You love Cortland Sutton?
Yeah, he's good. They're doing something over there. Denver's going to be a good team.
They're good.
With a plan.
They're a well-run organization. They have a good GM.
John Elway has gotten a lot of flack. He's not. He's made a good questionable moves. Mostly drafting Paxton Lynch. And signing Brock Osweiler. Oh, no, wait. They drafted Brock Osweiler, right?
Yeah, and then the Texans and Bill O'Brien, they signed Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
We got to get to that. Oh, shit.
Gordon, listen. He fucked himself. He had an offer on the table from the Chargers in the preseason when he decided to hold out $10 million a year. He didn't want that. He thought he was going to get Zeke money, Gurley money. Comes back after missing 4 games. Didn't have that good of a season up to his standards. He got a little bit better as the season went on, but did not play well.
Got outplayed by his backup.
Yeah, and they gave the backup the contract.
He did.
So he didn't get the $10 million he was looking. He didn't get the top dollar money he was looking for, and then he didn't even get the $10 million that was initially offered. He got $8 million a year from the Broncos. It's fully guaranteed.
Got outshined by his backup.
Wait, what happened with his backup, dude? You didn't say it enough.
Yeah, he bet on himself and he lost. He was one of those situations where he thought he was worth more than he actually was.
Yes.
Bad to see. But
he's a big attention guy.
I think these running backs might have to start accepting the fact that the teams aren't going to value them that high. You see what happened with Melvin here and what happened with Bell when his holdout, and he ends up not getting as much money as he hoped. Zeke got paid, but
now Gurley's going to get paid, but
yeah.
From the Rams' point of view, they're paying him. No team is going to want to make that mistake again.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Zeke.
I know it's not my body on the line. It's not my money, but being offered tens of millions of dollars, you see all these guys getting screwed over. You might want to.
But that's a thing, though. If you're Gurley, Or like you're a running back that just cashed out on a big contract. Like you don't know when your career is just going to end over the course of like a
but
few
that's
games.
like in a case like Melvin Gordon, who's trying to bet on himself to make more. Now he's making less, and
Well,
he's
he was
a running back. He's not gonna. This is probably his last big contract. Really,
he went into that holdout though, expecting the Chargers to give in, and they were strong and didn't do it. So
smart too, because they knew they had Eckler. Then they don't. Running backs are just not that valuable.
It's true. It's true.
And it's sad because obviously they're the ones that they take hits like no one else on the field. Like
they get rocked on every play.
They get burned into the ground, and it's why they want to get paid, but it's why teams don't want to pay them. It makes sense from both ends.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm just saying, like, now that they're seeing these guys who do these holdouts and bet on themselves and end up not getting the money that they thought, and then not even getting the money that they were offered initially, then, like, Bell, I'm pretty sure he got a similar deal from the Steelers. Like, they offered him something like that, and then he holds out a whole year. Then he leaves a team where he was unbelievably productive.
He missed a year of his career.
Now he sucks on the Jets.
A shell of himself.
Yeah, but it's just, at least he got some money. It's fully guaranteed, though, you said?
Gordon's contract is, yeah.
All right. Well, so he's got $16 million in his pocket. I don't feel bad.
No, apparently, and this is from Ian Rappaport, that he had offers from other teams, but he wanted to stay in the division and play the Chargers twice.
You saw Adam Schefter body that guy?
Decision making and bad, like, it's not, how you do business, worrying about grudges. And
You saw how Adam Schefter bodied that guy?
Oh, that was so funny. Alex, did you see this?
No, I did not see that.
I got to find it.
So I know what he said.
Go ahead.
Some guy tweeted, his name was like Mike something, and he was like, the Bills offered Melvin Gordon slightly more money, but like he ends up choosing the Broncos, whatever. And what's it called?
No, the wording that he said it. He was like, just to be clear or something. Or like,
oh, yeah. No, but then, Adam Schefter goes, just to be clear, Mike, the Bills didn't offer Melvin Gordon a contract. And then, like, everyone was replying, like some verified guy replies, just to be clear, Adam, you just murdered a man in cold blood on Twitter.
So funny. This guy, Mike, has a verified check, too. And then Mike replied, did you see this? Mike came back and he said, I was told different. And then Schefter said the agent reached out to the Bills. The Bills never made an offer.
Wow. You're going to really argue with Schefter? I mean, I believe that Mike was
I
told
can actually hear Adam Schefter saying that.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, Mike.
He does.
Yeah. He's the fucking man, though.
Yeah, if you're one of those sources guys, you got to be a king. Yeah, Rappaport's a good guy. But I think we should. I'm going to do another segue here because Matt loves my segues.
Schefter is from Long Island.
He really loves them. We're going to stay on the topic of running backs. The Texans made a huge move, and they got David Johnson, and they really didn't give up that much.
Yeah, just chump change.
If we fucking had a scrap heap today, I know we would all be scrapping the same person 4 different times.
DeAndre Hopkins. He should have begged to stay with that wonderful organization over in Houston.
Bill O'Brien, he's no stranger to the scrap heap. He's been torn apart a couple times.
Yeah.
We've probably scrapped him the most out of anyone.
Yeah, he's definitely a yeah. Dude, I mean,
which is just a huge garbage can.
What were they thinking? I don't understand. They must have beef.
He hated DeAndre Hopkins for some reason.
They're just the dumbest team of all time.
They fired their GM and then just let Bill O'Brien run the team. They just fired him like out of nowhere, like
on the field with decision making. He's terrible in the front office with trades.
He's gonna do the
first round pick this year.
He's gonna be in charge of the draft. They probably will do poorly there. And David Johnson, whatever he had that one good year, I've not been a fan of him at all. He gets hurt, and when he's been healthy, he's not that great. I don't know what they see in him. Maybe he stays healthy this year and is a workhorse again, but I highly doubt it. He's not going to do what DeAndre Hopkins gave you.
Even if he was as good as the year that he had David Johnson when he was great, like you said, like Hopkins is not as good as DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is more valuable to the team. And it's just it's a decision that makes absolutely no sense because David Johnson's making almost the same amount of money as DeAndre Hopkins this year. Like
yeah, and he's
dollars less.
Not nearly as good. Look, if he has a year like
David Johnson has had 1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
One.
If he does have a year like he had, and he, what was that?
What?
Sorry, Matt.
It was like a 2,000-yard season though with his receiving.
Yeah, if he has a year like that,
It was one really good season.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
I think we all believe-
one 1,000 rushing yard season, which is what you're bringing in a running back to do.
yeah,
Run
I
the
think we
ball.
all believe he.
That's not true. That's a not a good way to look at it. If your talent is receiving and that's like what your value is, and you can do both, that adds a whole
That's the
nother
same.
element.
That's the same way we looked at like Le'Veon Bell, though, and he's just not that because he's not in a position to succeed, which is the same thing that he's going to be with the Texans.
Yeah, I think we all believe.
Of course, it's a terrible move, but I'm saying if you're just looking at David Johnson saying he only had 1,000-yard rushing, and that's what a
No,
running
I'm
back
not.
is.
I'm not saying David Johnson isn't a talented player, but like we just went on and on about how running backs aren't that valuable, and not only is he a running back, but he hasn't been playing that well recently.
Of course,
And then you go ahead and trade one of the best wide receivers in the league for him.
yeah,
That's just that's what I'm saying. I don't
think-
mean to say that David Johnson is not like he's
I was
nothing.
just saying his receiving attribute, like his skill at receiving, has value. Like it's not just that he rushes.
I think we all agree that that's probably not what he is at this time in his career. But if he does replicate what he did that year for the Texans, then hey, that would be great for them. Like to have a workhorse back like that.
And then they just won't have DeAndre Hopkins.
He could have just had DeAndre Hopkins.
I know it doesn't. I'm not defending the move. It's just. But let's talk about
an injury-prone running back who's making too much money. They could have waited a day inside Todd Gurley and kept DeAndre Hopkins.
what they. Let's move on to a team. Not move on, but move to the other side for a team that got an outstanding return out of this when they got the. I don't know if the
fucking move for them.
Yeah, I don't know if the Texans came to them with this offer, but if they did, they probably were like, "Hold on 1 second." Put Bill O'Brien on hold, and we're like, "Yo, this guy's a moron. Let's say yes right now." like, if you're telling me we'll give you DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, I'd just be like, "No, you're joking."
It's not funny. So.
He's like, the free agency is going on right now. There's a virus. This is not the time. Yeah,
There's a virus.
He's like, no, dude, it's really me. My chin is a butt. I promise you. It's Bill O'Brien.
No, but so the Cardinals, first of all, on a just face level here, he's
Is
going to
Larry
look like
Fitzgerald
a king
going to
in
retire
those
or what?
jerseys.
Yeah,
Yes.
he will look cool.
He will look cool.
He will look so cool. I don't think Fitzgerald's retiring yet. So they're going to have Fitz. They're going to have Hopkins. They're going to have our boy Christian Kirk, who I think is a solid player. I think he's a
What
nice
a
young
receiving
receiver.
core.
He
And
traded him away.
Kenyon
They have-
Drake.
They have Kyler Murray.
They still have Kenyon Drake now.
And they have a top 10 pick. They're probably going to pick an O-lineman. He just
Anthony Isabella,
he went to as good of a place as you could.
Matt's boy.
And
And
Whatever.
that's just a great move for them. They're building around Kyler, giving him the best receiver in the NFL. I still think he is. He had a down year.
better than Michael Thomas.
He definitely had a down year.
He could, I
he
think he's still,
didn't have that good of a year.
1A and 1B.
Yeah, like next year Hopkins could just have a better year. Why not?
Thomas is great, but I mean,
He's amazing. This year Thomas was the better receiver, but I don't think it's out of the question that you get a better season out of Hopkins. Like,
no, you're right.
No, it's not
a
out of the
toss-up.
question. He definitely did not look as good as he normally does last year.
Yeah, well,
Look
Bill
who's
O'Brien.
calling the plays. Yeah.
Well, he's
I
also been
guess.
calling the plays like his whole career, but
No.
but
And
that's
Hopkins came out and said that whole comparison to Aaron Hernandez thing was like complete BS.
really. So he defended O'Brien.
Yeah, he said that they have a
Tried to
great
just, like,
relationship.
Put out the flames. Who knows what happened? I think
Come on, you're being so suspicious. He literally, Hopkins said it.
what?
I know you want to hate on Bill O'Brien, but Hopkins came out and said that him and Bill O'Brien have a.
He's putting out the fire. He was just like, no, it's not that.
So it's probably gassed by the media. Come on, give Bill O'Brien a break here.
So
he's not a good coach.
Down to, I think that they didn't want to pay him the money that he was asking, and they traded him before he was a free agent. And they got something back from him. He's
and it was terrible return.
And he's due for an extension, and they didn't want to trade. They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, and the Cardinals have a quarterback in this second year of his contract compared to Watson.
Oh, what a
good
move by the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So they didn't get paid yet.
Well, if he didn't, he's about to.
Yeah.
Like it's coming up. So the Cardinals can pay Hopkins whatever, and they have Kyler making $6 million a year. So it's not a big deal for them right now.
Great move for the Cardinals. The NFC West is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully, I hope he takes that next step because all these teams can be great. Rams,
Final
Seahawks.
Here that I wanted to mention, another wide receiver trade with the Bills and Vikings. A team.
Oh yes, that was like so early that I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, it was right after the Hopkins trade, and the Vikings got a first-round pick back and made Bill O'Brien look even worse for not getting a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins.
Wait, you guys remember this? Do we want to talk about this? We never got to talking about that one.
That was the blackout episode.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That was the infamous episode.
Yeah. No, but the Bills acquired Stephon Diggs for a first-round pick from the Vikings, which just kind of blows your mind that DeAndre Hopkins couldn't get a first-round pick back. But Bill O'Brien would rather have.
What could have possibly happened?
I mean, what do you like? David Johnson and a second-round pick, is that kind of like a first-round pick?
If David Johnson's not the worst.
It's just like
I kind of see it, but Diggs also got a lot more. There's like a fourth, a fifth. There's a lot. It's a lot to the trade. The Vikings got a way better return. But
it's like in fantasy football when you like trade one player for like three mediocre players. It's like those, like even though you get three of those players, they don't like all add up to your one really good player. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, I know that logic for fantasy, but I don't know if it equates because it's not like a point system.
It's just a terrible trade.
Yeah, no, it's terrible trade. But Stephon Diggs,
good
Josh
trade
Allen
for the Bills.
He finally has a number one receiver that he needed.
Yeah, it's a great move for the Bills.
Good for them. Good for them there.
You could have used that first round pick on a guy like T. Higgins or Laviska Shenault or any of these guys. But why not just turn it into Stephon Diggs? You're a team that made the playoff last year, obviously needed something on offense rather than have to develop a young receiver. Go get an established one.
I worry about Diggs fitting in Buffalo.
And I worry about his health.
Is he an injury guy?
I don't know about injury guy, but he seems like a locker room guy.
I don't think he's
I definitely know he's a locker room guy. And like third year starting quarterback who still is having his fair share of struggles, like definitely still not accurate. I mean, like
if he was getting mad at Kirk Cousins.
That's what I'm going to That's exactly what I wanted to say. Like Cousins is right now at a position where he's significantly ahead of Josh Allen in terms of being quarterback, and if you're going to complain about that, there's no way he's going to get along with Josh Allen.
Yeah. So
Buffalo players, they feel the heat from their fan base and their local media.
They love Josh Allen though.
They love Josh Allen, but like if Diggs starts out the season and is not like putting up wild performances, he's going to hear it from those Buffalo fans. And if he doesn't respond well to that, that could be a problem.
I don't know what his issue with Kirk Cousins ever was.
And then, but
he Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback.
He had his best season
just,
of his career with Kirk Cousins by far. Yeah. And I was wrong. He doesn't get injured that much. He's not like missing a lot of games. He's never played he played 14 games actually every single year of his career. But I feel like he's just always like nicked up. Like an ankle here, and then in game he's just not the same, you know.
He's definitely a high maintenance player.
Yeah, and he's only had 2 seasons over 1,000 yards.
He's good though. They had feeling there.
He's really good. I'm just saying, like, it's weird that he's like this diva.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the resume to act up.
And especially towards the quarterback that gave him the 2 best seasons of his career.
Yeah.
That was Kirk's second year, right, with the Vikings? Yeah, the only 2 seasons he went over 1,000 yards were with Kirk Cousins.
We talk about this a lot, Richard. Kirk Cousins gets too much criticism.
Yeah, we were saying that, was that yesterday? I was like, are we moved on from the he can't win big games? Like, he beat a team that a lot of people had in the Super Bowl, including, I think, at least one of us did, the Saints. And he beats them in their own stadium. Like, what else is he? Okay, they lost to...
The narrative has been written on Kirk Cousins unfairly already, where he can't win big games and he's not that kind of quarterback. No matter what happens, people think that. But it's tough to, like, you can get to the top 10 elite quarterbacks. But aside from that, like, Kirk Cousins is a great situation for a wide receiver.
Yeah. And I saw... I forget where I saw that. Someone said, like, the Vikings are probably regretting paying him. Like, no, I don't think they should be.
Cousins?
Where else would they be? They would be awful.
15 quarterback, and if you have a quarterback like that and build the team around them, you can be successful.
What do you get, 3 years, $80 million?
They were in the NFC Championship game. Who's complaining? No, 2 out of the last 3 seasons.
They lost to the 49ers.
That wasn't the NFC Championship game?
No, that was second round. They went with Case Keenum.
Whatever. They went deeper than most people thought they would.
Yeah, they lost to the team that lost in the Super Bowl.
To be fair, the first year that they got Kirk Cousins, they were coming off an NFC Championship game and got a better quarterback and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
true.
That kind of wrote the narrative.
And then, but also, I don't know. This past season, if I'm remembering correctly, that first round of games, not first round, the divisional round, they were like the biggest underdog out of any game that weekend. Nobody expected them to beat the Saints.
No, yeah, of course, I agree with you.
That was a huge upset.
Game, yeah, but I don't see it. I don't know what Diggs' issue ever was, but as long as he can, be cool in the locker room in Buffalo and get along with everybody, it's a great weapon for that offense that really needed a weapon.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like Randy Moss, Terrell Owens type diva where it's real, like, it's like really getting in the way of succeeding.
Well, he's worse than them because they were the all-time greats. Stephon Diggs is just a very good wide receiver.
I just don't even think he's on that level of.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Diggs is gonna cause problems in Buffalo.
It'll be interesting. I'll cheers to that. Any other notable guys we want to get to? I mean, like Byron Jones gets whatever for Miami. Like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
The Giants got Bradbury. They franchise tagged Leonard Williams. Dumb. He sucks. I don't know. I can't think of any other big moves off the top of my head.
No, I have a question for you guys. It's not sports related.
Okay.
I was thinking about this last night because I've developed like semi-insomnia during this quarantine where like my sleep schedule is all fucked up. So I was up like 4 a.m. just thinking about shit for the episode. And I came up with this little hypothetical. I don't know if it's an obvious answer or not, but say if you were to be able to go back to like freshman year of high school with all of the knowledge that you have now, you were able to go back freshman year of high school, like the future and everything. how would you get rich? What would you do to become rich?
Become rich?
That's plausible. Like you can't be like, I would.
What year? Were we freshmen?
2010.
Hold on.
The best way for you to get rich.
I'd probably try to get into something that's just starting now. You know, like something that's just becoming popular now.
Contract the coronavirus.
Maybe start working on the vaccine.
Okay.
To get rich? I don't know.
That doesn't count. It's too easy.
You can't do stock?
No, it's too easy.
I was gonna look up the stock of like Netflix in 2010 because it's probably
Yeah,
way less.
Easily, everyone would be a billionaire if you could just go back and invest in the shit that gets popular now.
You'd have to do like something viral, like make TikTok.
I think that's what I would do.
I'm thinking about TikTok. That's where my mind is going right now.
Like, are you really gonna, as a freshman in high school, start developing an app? Are you gonna?
If I have the knowledge I have
I would
now,
write Game
yeah.
of Thrones.
It's about timing though with TikTok too. Like if you just like dropped it.
I'd get a team of developers together and be like, "Yo, I'm from the future. I'm telling you, this shit's gonna be big."
I think I would do those prank videos on YouTube that everybody loves. Do shit in public and like.
I would make
You
Fortnite.
wouldn't get rich.
I would start developing Fortnite.
Guys on those YouTube channels are loaded.
Is that not a good idea?
Loaded.
I would
Didn't Fortnite, wasn't that like in development for decades before they launched it?
maybe.
So you would
don't
get. I think I would do prank videos on YouTube because if we did them right now, too late. The market is already saturated.
Oh, you know what I would do? I would start.
Yeah, just like podcasting.
I would start predicting shit that I.
We could do the memo 10 years ago. Boom.
I would start predicting shit that I knew was gonna happen, and then once the shit started happening, people would start tuning into my channel to hear my predictions.
Okay.
Wow, so some time traveling shit.
And then after once it got to 2020, and my my vision has stopped from there because I went back in 2020, I'd retire.
Then you just have like a bunch of like alt-right fucking Twitter followers.
Yeah, demanding more info.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, sorry, I lost it. It went away. And I'd be a billionaire by then, so I don't care.
You could sports bet if you knew the results of every game.
That's a good idea too.
That's a good idea.
You would just win.
Or you could just win every lotto.
Yep. No, you can't, because that's by chance.
What?
That's by chance.
What do you mean?
Pick your numbers. You can pick your own numbers.
Oh,
Why can't I just pick the previously won numbers?
all right.
would
I
happen
don't
to
know
win.
how the fucking lotto works.
No, you had me in the beginning, but you can't pick your number. I want to know. Get rid of like the whole stock market, lottery, sports betting, shit like that. It doesn't.
I
count.
said mine.
What? You're taking away everything.
Yeah, what? How am I supposed to get rich?
Sports betting, and you would win every single. That's the answer then.
I think TikTok. TikTok is where I would go.
What about
All right.
Flappy Bird?
Oh. Or Angry Birds. Or was
The
that
thing is,
before
at that time, well, when did Vine start?
like 2013, 2014.
So I'd have to convince developers like that shit's gonna fail,
Yeah.
and we'll just do the exact same thing. Don't worry.
Well, I think Vine.
Not that one. It's this one.
I don't think TikTok is succeeding because it's like better than Vine. I think like Vine went away, and there was that, and then people started to love Vines, and then there was that void of no Vine, so someone just took it over. Like people didn't enjoy
It's a
it
shame.
while they had it, and then they realized how funny the shit was, and then everyone like kept reposting it on Instagram and shit. So someone
That's
just
really
made
a
a different
shame
app.
for the people that developed Vine. They're probably just like,
They
fuck.
probably own TikTok too.
Probably.
Is that all? Is that all for the free agency? Or we're running at an hour and a half here, which does
I'm
not feel
good.
like an hour and a half at all.
Do prank videos and make some money.
It's
That's really all
2010.
that was about. I think we should take the show on the road.
Guys, coronavirus was a prank. We got you.
Everyone stay inside.
You guys want to call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about good here.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. We hope you're all staying safe. We hope you enjoyed this format. It's going to be this way for the time being. Let us know what you thought about free agency. Let us know, what did we talk about? We talked about something before free agency. Let us know how you are all doing, if you're staying safe, what your methods of staying entertained are besides rotting your brain with small shields and purple scars.
Yeah.
You guys want to?
Questions going next week so we can engage with the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys want to have a Zoom beer after we stop this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cornfeld on.
Yeah.
I got to piss. All right. Thank
All
you.
right.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Good night.